What's up, sports fans? Back again. It's been a little while, but I was doing research for the Thursday night slate, so I wanted to hop in here, get a first look, get a core out, and get some content out for you guys. So let's just hop right in. 4 game slate tonight: Philly, Washington, Houston, Toronto, Denver, New York, Phoenix, New Orleans. Um, all slated to be 230 or higher as far as the totals go. So they'll also be pretty high scoring games. No projected blowouts or anything like that. So that'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. Um, Pace up spots for Phoenix, Philly, and Toronto. Denver, New York. There are a couple of value pieces in there. I really would like to stay as far away from that game as possible, just because of I don't like playing New York in general, just because of Fizdale and the rotation, and that's just kind of a gross game in general. But there are a couple pieces to that game. I'll get into that in a second. But let's switch over to DK and kind of go over how I'm looking at the slate. So if you're looking at, we'll go and kind of look at the top studs, just kind of in general. Harden, far and above the highest priced player tonight at 12K. Now, he's been more appropriately priced recently. He has had a couple of just nutty games. He had 78 against San Antonio and 85. That just monster game against Atlanta over the weekend. Uh, that 85 point, he hit that 85 point game. That's his close to a ceiling game. I mean, he just went nuts scoring. He could not miss. If you watch that game, he was so efficient in that game. He hit uh, I want to say he hit like 75% of his threes. He got to the line 20 times. He just did everything right in that game, in that blowout, and he got the run on top of that. He didn't lose any. He lost some of his fourth quarter run, but he played his normal 3 quarters of during the first 3 quarters. He hit his normal number of minutes in those quarters. So, but I mean, I could see kind of a little bit of a regression coming up. He really only hit that 78 point game against San Antonio because the 2 overtimes, and he played well in the 2 overtimes. I think he only had somewhere around 60, 61 points in regulation. So it's not like he would have hit that 78 through regulation. So I would, especially on a 4 game slate where we're going to be limited on value, I'm not really looking at him as a core play. Just because if you whiff on him, you're pretty much done for the slate. So, and plus there are a lot of good values kind of in the higher mid range, 8K range. So we'll hop over to them. Let's go back out. And if you're going with this on the Houston team, I'm looking more towards Westbrook here. He's had a couple good games in the last 3. He did lose a little bit of run in that Atlanta game because of the route. But 55 points against the Spurs. Now a little bit of that was with the overtimes, but he was playing well in regulation. Um, and against Miami, he had 48. He's priced at 8,800. His price really hasn't changed that much. It's been pretty steady in the mid to upper eights. But I do like him in this spot, and getting some of the usage away from Harden here. So um, I put him in there. Bradley Beal had a great game against Orlando. You see 42 minutes, close game there. Most likely it's going to be the same thing. They're going to be trailing, most likely in the fourth quarter, within reach, and that's really what you want because he'll be shooting. The ball will be in his hands. He has crazy ownership usage. He has crazy usage, especially with all the injuries that they have. So I'm looking a lot at him. So him and Westbrook, it's kind of the higher price guys on my lineups now. We'll shift over to that Denver New York game that I really don't want to go to it, but Paul Millsap is just underpriced here at 4,900. You see he's coming off a great game against the Lakers a couple days ago, but he's going to get really around 27 to 30 minutes in a close game, which this should be. Um, and the odds of him hitting between 25, 28 points, um, as just kind of an average of what he'll get, and his upside is going to be in the 30s. So on a short slate like this, I like having him as a value play. We'll go fourth pick. We'll go down to Ricky Rubio. I typically don't like to play Rubio. Just not a very sexy pick, but at 6,200, he's priced down a little bit from his last two games. On a point per minute basis, he's really doing well, especially in his last four since coming back from his injury. Looking at each game, he lost a little bit of run last game, and against the Wizards, I believe he was in foul trouble against the Wizards, and in Orlando it was just kind of a blowout. So, but if you look at a point per minute basis, he's hitting about a point per minute, sometimes more than that, and he's most likely, as long as this game stays close, he'll get 34, 35 minutes. And with the frenetic pace that New Orleans goes at, it's definitely a pace-up spot here for him. He'll have the ball in his hands. New Orleans, not a good defensive team, so if you're looking at kind of an average like that, he's probably going to hit more than a point per minute, maybe 1.1, 1.2, and if he does hit that at 35 minutes, he's going to hit 6x value at a minimum. So I really like him in this spot in that late game tonight. One other spot that I do want to look at, just because value is on this slate going to be at a premium. There are a couple of guys that you can go to at the guard spot. One is going to be Furkan Korkmaz. I played him his first start. Man, I think that was the one against San Antonio. Back when he had 27 DK points in 34 minutes. But he's kind of a dartboard a little bit in the fact that he's not a high usage player, but he is a really, really good shooter. If you remember to his rookie year, in the first summer league games, he hit something crazy like 12 threes in his first summer league game. So he's a long range shooter, and the Wizards are just terrible defensively, especially against 3-point shooters. So I like him in this spot. Maybe not, definitely not a core play, but if it's someone where you have sub 4K left for your last spot, or you're looking for value, or even a tournament play, he'd be definitely on the table. And then one other guy that I really don't like playing is going to be Dennis Smith Jr. Now, obviously, if he's not starting, he's not really on the table. But Nick Lena is questionable. Let's just make sure that's the case. Yeah, he's questionable for the game against the Nuggets. So he missed last game with that injury, and Smith started. He was priced at 3,200 in that game, and he was not very good. Only had 11 DK points, but he should get just the lion's share of the minutes as long as this game's close. That game against Milwaukee was an uber rout. They lost by 40, 45 points, and it really wasn't that close. It was just a blowout from the start. So that's one of the reasons why he lost run in that game. But he should have 35, 36, 38 minutes of run. And if he does get that run, he should hit value very easily in that. But again, only if he is starting in that. So that's all I have for you guys for this slate. But if you're looking at these four players, you have 5,350 remaining for the remaining four per player. So definitely doable with what we have out here, and most likely we'll get one piece at least of value news before lock. But hopefully this has helped. If you have any feedback or comments, always appreciated in the comments below. I am going to try and get more content out, maybe not daily, but definitely a few times a week, as far as first looks and core plays on the night before or the morning of. So hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the DFS Picks. And if you want full lineups, I have a premium page on Instagram where I have full lineups on a daily basis for both the main slate and for the late showdown slate each night. It's only $10 a week or $30 a month. If you want to inquire about that, if you want to do that, shoot me a message on Instagram or Twitter, or put a comment down below in the comments section. That's all I got for tonight. So good luck on tonight's slate if you're playing, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.